rank the Colts free agents, all right, there are actually 16 unrestricted free agents for the Indianapolis Colts. We're going to rank the top 10 in regards to their need for the Colts to re-sign. There's some guys you got to re-sign. There's some guys you don't got to re-sign. We'll tell you the difference between the two, who falls above that line and who falls below that line, and we'll introduce the complication of, hey, we got to sign some guys to extensions. And those extensions are going to make it impossible to keep all the guys that you'd really like to keep. There's some guys you'd like to keep, you're not going to be able to keep. This is the kind of the tragedy of the NFL and the hard cap, because you're not going to be able to keep everybody. You can't. You build a monster, and that monster kind of, all of a sudden there are pieces of that monster that need to go to other teams, because you got to set priorities. You've seen it with the Chiefs, you've seen it with the Eagles, and they continue to figure it out despite the fact that they say goodbye to really good players. Colts going to have to say goodbye to some really good players at the end of this season. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Indiana basketball, because Indiana basketball, they're not back. They never were here. They have moved forward. They're not going back to anything. For years and years and years and years, and I was a chief protagonist in trying to get this done, trying to go back to when it was successful. You cannot go back and make something successful. You can't. You've got to go forward toward what's going to be successful, and you have to do it fearlessly, and Darren DeVries is doing that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Pacers game tonight against the Phoenix Suns. They got to win this one, or they're 0-4 on this trip. And if you go 0-4 on this trip, all of a sudden you're 1-11 on the season, and there's no way back from 1-11. Not with this team. This team is not talented enough. I'm not sure, even with Tyrese, if Tyrese Halliburton was to come back at the All-Star break, I don't think this team is talented enough to make the playoffs, even at that. But I was talking to a friend today about how sometimes what's bad turns out to be good, and what's good turns out to be bad. And that's part of dealing with adversity. This adversity that the Pacers are going through right now and are going to go through this season might be exactly the thing that gets them to the place that they need to go. We'll see if that's possible. We'll talk about it. Apple TV and MLS, Major League Soccer, they've decided to change their business model as far as media, and they needed to. In order to watch Major League Soccer on Apple TV, you needed a season pass. They're doing away with the season pass. What they want to do, is expose their product to as many people as possible, so you're going to be able to watch it on Apple TV with a simple subscription. That's smart. And this is Inside Indiana Sports Now for Thursday, November 13th, 2025, brought to you by the great people at YouTube TV. Look, you know what? It isn't a perfect world. But YouTube TV, they're sitting down with the high muckety-mucks of ESPN and Disney. Jimmy Pitaro's in the room, so you know it's a serious conversation. And they're trying to figure out a way through this dispute of how much money YouTube TV is going to charge for their service, given the fact that Disney wants a bump from what they are being paid, which is $18 a month for ABC, ESPN, FX, Disney, that kind of stuff on your YouTube TV package. YouTube TV, they don't want to keep coming to you for more money. So they're saying no. YouTube TV is this big as part of a profit generator for Google. ESPN, ABC, that big. And they are losing about $30 million a week based upon this cessation of service for YouTube TV subscribers. YouTube can wait all day long for this thing to come, for ESPN and Disney and ABC to come to their senses and decide that, look, they're not the biggest cat in the room here, all right? So I had to buy YouTube TV to get the Pacers playoff games. Yes, yeah, because of TNT and TBS. I totally get it. So YouTube TV, love YouTube TV. Full disclosure, I have paused my YouTube TV subscription And I've subscribed to Fobu, because with Fobu, Fubo, change your name, would you, to something I can remember. Because with Fubo, I can watch what I need to watch in order to be a savvy sports consumer. All right. Make sure and become a member. With a member, the all-meal deal membership, you get a free copy of my book, Oops, The Art of Learning from Mistakes and Adventures, which is also available at Amazon, for goodness sake. But I'll autograph this one and I'll send it to you. If you become an all-meal deal subscriber, all you have to do is DM me on X your name and address. I'll get it off once you become an all-meal deal subscriber. Any level of subscriber, all-meal deal or a breakfast buddy. We get together on Saturday mornings at about 9 o'clock and we chop it up about sports. Very informal, a lot of fun, as honest as I am here. And we just talk about stuff. We take all the comments. I don't miss any of them. Sometimes I miss comments here because I'm referring to notes. I have no notes on Saturday. We just talk. Make sure and become a subscriber, and that's free, becoming a subscriber. You got to be a subscriber to be eligible to win prizes. And we give away a prize, a good prize, every single Monday afternoon. And the prize is the next 5 weeks, Colts jerseys autographed by some of your favorite former and current Colts. How about that action? But you've got to be a subscriber to be eligible, and you've got to use a phrase that pays in a comment to enter, and you're allowed to do that once per video. The phrase that pays right now is pay up for DJ. How about this? This is better. DJ Payday. That's better. DJ Payday is the phrase that pays. All right? Let's talk about, smash the like button. And if you want to make a donation, no big whoop. But make sure and include a comment or a question that elevates the level of discourse on the channel. All right, Freddie, there you go. DJ Payday. All right, number 10, Michael Badgley. I got to tell you the truth. As Colts free agents go, this is one, he may not make it to the end of the season. He misses another extra point. And I don't know if he's going to be back for the game coming up in Kansas City against the Chiefs. He did make the game-tying field goal, but he missed an extra point and came up short on a 53-yarder. Do you want him back? How does Spencer Schrader recover from his knee surgery? Is he going to be back? If he's back in his leg, he's got that boomstick. You know what? I am down with Spencer Schrader. No offense to Michael Badgley. Nothing personal. Number 9, Danny Pitter. Solid minimum wage backup center. He's a good guy. Everybody likes him, and he can play. You lose if Tanner Bortolini has to sit for any period of time. Danny can go in and play good football. I see nothing wrong with Danny Pitter as long as that number is a minimum number. Number 8, Jermaine Pratt. He's been okay since his release by the Raiders. I mean, they kind of had a problem, the Colts did, at linebacker. And Jermaine Pratt has been a nice stopgap. Do you want to sign him almost at the age of 30? Maybe. You know what, Fireman Jeff, I think you might be right. He may be gone before Kansas City. Talking about Michael Badgley. We'll see. Shane Steichen kind of hedged his bet, didn't he? Said, when asked if they're looking for another kicker, he said, not right now. We have a lot of trust in Michael. Okay. Number 7, Kwity Paye. You know what? He's a $14 million cap hit this year. I don't think he's back. I think you let Kwity Paye go. After a nice 2023, he's kind of receded. And so I don't see him as a guy where at that edge position, you got to get to the quarterback more often. Like he played well against the Cardinals, but that was about it. And since then, he's stair-stepped down. Just a non-factor in Germany, a non-factor in Pittsburgh. Can't have that from an edge guy and be a championship contending team. Mo Ali Cox. You know what? If it doesn't cost you nothing, you're not going to be. I don't know where Kylan Granson wound up. That's a good question. I thought maybe it was with the Steelers, but I'm not sure about that. Mo Ali Cox, if he comes in at a very low level, money-wise, like you can't pay that guy $6 million a year. He's a backup tight end. You got other backup tight ends. You got Ogletree. You got Mallory. You got guys. Like if Mo Ali Cox doesn't come back, I don't think it wrecks your ability to win football games. And if he does come back, I don't think he secures your ability to win football games either. But if Tyler Warren suffers some kind of injury, he's going to at least be able to come in and block. So not terrible. Samson Ebukam, he can't stay healthy, too expensive. And I don't think he's going to come in and play for $1 million or $2 million, and so he's going to be gone. You need money. Braden Smith, number 4. He's going to be 30 in March. He's not bad this year. He's been okay. He's played like Braden Smith. But can Jalen Travis, on a rookie contract, play at a higher level given the need to keep the top 3 guys? And we're going to talk about that. I'd love to have Braden Smith back. Great guy, right tackle since 2018, a guy who has played a lot of good football for the Colts. But is it time to say goodbye? You may have to prioritize others ahead of Braden Smith, and that would necessitate Braden Smith going to play for somebody else. Number 3, I don't think you pay him a gob of money, but Nick Cross is quickly becoming a really good kind of an important part of that defense. Not like a game wrecker for opposing offenses, but as a box safety, Nick Cross has gotten better and better and better and better. And so why let him go if it's, a matter of paying him $7 million a year or something like that? I got no problem with that. I can't believe that's even coming out of my mouth. We talk about millions of dollars like it's monopoly money, and it's ridiculous. Alec Pierce, number 2. You got to keep Alec Pierce. Number 1's Daniel Jones, and number 1 is Daniel Jones. If you're going to keep Daniel Jones and you're going to pay him a lot of money, let's say you pay him $35 million a year every year over the next 4. So it's 4 years, $140 million with 80 guaranteed, whatever. You need people for him to throw the ball to. And Alec Pierce needs to be one of those guys. Alec Pierce is a reliable as hell, unselfish, non-diva deep threat. Show me another one in the National Football League. An unselfish, non-diva deep threat. They're 4-leaf clover. You find one of those, you grip it, you hold on to it, you try not to crush it, but you hold on to it like grim death you do. So you got to sign Alec Pierce. I don't know how you do that, because he's going to cost you about $20 million, if not a little bit more than that. He's worth that much. Somebody's going to come, and somebody's going to offer him a ton of jack unless you get him signed before free agency opens. If you can extend him, extend him. Daniel Jones, you got to re-sign, because if you don't, who are you going to go with? Where are you going to get the next Daniel Jones? Are you going to be able to get this lucky again? Daniel Jones hadn't been awesome the last 2 weeks, but I think he's going to come back to being really, really good and a very, very high-end game manager. And before you crush me for calling him a game manager, being a game manager is a hell of a good thing. Tom Brady was a game manager. Peyton Manning was a game manager. Brett Favre was a game manager. These guys were high-end game managers. Patrick Mahomes has really become an efficient game manager. Game manager is a compliment. It's not denigrating to a quarterback to be called a game manager. Toby says AP is a deep threat who recognizes the need to improve versatility and route running and works to improve and blocking. Like, Jonathan Taylor is not being discussed as a most valuable player potentially in the NFL, if not for Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman blocking their asses off for him at that second and third level. 100%. 10 games does not make a season with Daniel Jones. It doesn't. It's still a little bit early to declare this a done deal, but I think it's a done deal. I mean, he's shown an ability to master the offense and master it quickly. He's shown an ability to get the ball out on time and on target. When the game hung in the balance against the Atlanta Falcons in Berlin, Daniel Jones threw the ball where it was supposed to be to Daniel Warren. That was it. And then he had the brains to hand it off again and again and again and again and again to Jonathan Taylor. But good throws to Pittman, good throws to Pierce, and even if not a great throw to Pierce, the bomb that Pierce caught, you know what? You throw a jump ball to Alec Pierce, he's going to come down with it a lot of the time. Fireman Jeff says, I still say we have the best blocking offense in NFL history. Who's been better? Wow, really, really good offensive lines. That's a pretty good question. I think the Steelers had a really good offensive line. I think the Packers in the 60s, although I never saw them, had a really good offensive line. They were really good. Mateo says, Signetti watches you post-game press conference. He said he always looks at the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yes, that can be common, but I'm 99% sure he's influenced. Everybody watches. What are you kidding? Of course they watch. I get that all the time from guys. They say, hey, don't tell anybody. All right. So I won't. But that's fine. We try to tell the truth, and the truth resonates, right, with people who are interested in the truth. That's what this is. Like, other people are flaming, and other people are trolling. I just try to tell the truth. I try to find the truth that I believe best, and I do the work to try to figure out what that is, and then I try to tell the truth as best I can. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Indiana basketball. Let's tell some truth about Indiana basketball, all right? It has shown the value of a complete top-to-bottom culture transfusion. Like drug addicts who'll get a full-body blood transfusion. That's what's happened with Indiana basketball because Indiana basketball really needed it. Indiana basketball was trying to be what Indiana basketball was back in the 70s under Mike Woodson when Woodson played for Indiana. That doesn't work. We figured out that doesn't work. I think Bob Knight today would be a great basketball coach because Bob Knight would have evolved with the times and with the style of basketball necessary to be able to compete in 2025. You look at the way he evolved very, very quickly. That dude adjusted to the three-point shot being legal in 1987 at a level that won Indiana its fifth and last, so far, national championship. They went bonkers. And the year that it was, they experimented with it, like 82, 83, man, Ted Kitchell and Randy Whitman went off. Nobody was better at bitching about evolution of rules in basketball while at the same time adjusting really, really quickly and completely to those rules. He'd have figured all this out. And finally, we got a guy who does. I watched last night, right? You watch the game, and you're like, hey, where'd the mid-range jumpers go? There weren't any. I didn't see one. I'd like to see the shot chart. I haven't seen it. I saw 28 threes being shot. Indiana hit 14 of them. And I saw a lot of back cuts. And I saw a lot of dunks. And I didn't see any mid-range at all. None. Excellent. Very, very good. I think what they've finally got to do, and we'll talk about this in the future, this is like a June topic maybe, they got to widen the floor. I know widening the floor is not going to be a popular thing among people who own and operate arenas. But you got to widen the floor. Like the three-point shot, the three-point line has got to be moved out in the NBA, and it's got to be moved out in college basketball. And to accommodate that, you've got to widen the floor. That's got to happen. And if you don't do that, I really think this game just becomes a farce. But right now, it's really fun to watch Indiana play. It's really fun to watch this collection of misfits who are overlooked in the recruiting process. Watch these guys come together and play like this and really kind of challenge themselves to see how many games they can win, by being like this. You got guys from Troy. You got a guy from Chattanooga. You got Sam Houston State. You've got Drake. You've got DePaul. You've got West Virginia. You got guys from all over the place who are not recruited at all to play in the Big Ten. And now they're going to try to shove it up all of those coaches' asses because they overlooked them in the recruiting process. These guys know that the likelihood of them playing in the NBA is scant. None of these guys project to be a really good pro. None are going to be first-round draft picks. Indiana's had a lot of first-round draft picks over the last 9 years. They have not had a lot of wins. It's time to flip that script, go get guys who are not going to be first-round draft picks, and put up a lot of wins. Maybe you can get guys who are going to be first-round draft picks and get a lot of wins. I think that'd be optimum. By the way, we're in the middle of the signing period. So we'll see what happens with that if we get another couple of commits. Pacers, Suns. At this point, this is more about losses rather than wins, right? How many losses can the Pacers stack up? How far can they sink in order to get a really good pick for the draft 2026? We're just over how many months? How many months we got until, well, we have 7 months, 7.5 months maybe, until the NBA draft. I'm looking forward to it already. We are 11 games into this season. We are, what, an eighth into this season? Yikes. I'm ready for it to end. I don't want to watch the Pacers anymore. Isn't that sad? I loved watching the Pacers in April, May, and June. Now, not so much. No more season pass to watch MLS. A simple Apple TV account will get you access to all the games. There's a limit to what we're going to pay for. There just is. You can't pay for everything. I mean, my God, you got to get Peacock. You got to get Big Ten Plus. You've got to have YouTube TV or Fubo or DirecTV. You've got to have, how many things we got to get? You got to have Amazon to watch a game tonight, right? You have to have a service that has NFL Network. You just got all kinds of things that you need to subscribe to. And at some point, the rubber hits the road and you say, no mas. I'm not doing it. I think that time came. I'm an Apple TV subscriber. I let Peacock lapse. I know there are games coming up, 5 games, I think, this season for Indiana, where they've got Peacock. They're on Peacock. We got a Big Ten game or a couple of them coming up, but that's Big Ten. That's on the basic tier, not Big Ten Plus yet. I think that game against Samson or one of the games in the holidays are on Big Ten Plus. Going to have to figure that out. Just a pain in the ass. Mo Ali's retiring? Who said? Why would Mo Ali Cox retire? That's an interesting thought. He's got a lot of money. He did sign a couple of good money deals, a couple of $6 million deals. He ain't going to need money. Interesting. I've not heard that he's retiring. He has not told me that. All right, tomorrow morning, breakfast with Kent, bright and early. Let's go. Enjoy what's rest of this day. We don't have much left. The sun is setting on yet another day. We've only got 2 until Indiana kicks the living crap out of the Wisconsin Badgers. This is not going to be pretty for Wisconsin. Not going to be pretty. We're going to talk about that tomorrow morning on Breakfast with Kent. Can't wait to talk to you tomorrow morning, 6:40. Shorts all night long. Let's go. Breaking news at once on the channel where Indiana sports news always comes first.